Hello. Okay, this is not exactly a yap sesh, but it's also kind of going to be a yap sesh. I've not recorded a video for a minute, but it's been because I've been on vacation and I went to a regional and I've been going to locals and things, so it's been a lot of fun. I very much am a new player and have been feeling the woes of taking L's, fucking up, doing things wrong, but I've been having a great time. I've been loving playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not even gonna hold you. I would like to share some of the things I learned as the Yap Sesh part, but also this is kind of going to be an overview of, I guess, Argostars and some of the things I've learned. And we got a new drop being an XZs. I'm currently Diamond 3. I don't know how long I'll stay there or if I'll be able to get to Masters, but I am trying to climb and also trying to get better at the TCG. I've learned a lot, and I would like to impart some of my knowledge that I have learned from the game on Master Duel and in real life onto y'all. So you can think of this as sort of a repository of Argostars knowledge. The current clip you're seeing is me halfway OTKing somebody. No, actually, no, that's a lie. I did OTK somebody right here. One first note that I've learned is this deck feels better going second slash as a board breaker deck instead of me trying to like build something crazy. It's better in a grind game, but there are a few combos that let you just straight up end somebody's career, like this right here. But let's get into the overview. So, for those of you that have or have not been here before, my name is Mixtape. I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Really not that long, competitively or not competitively. I stopped during like the 5Ds era when I was like a teenager and got back into it at the top of this year, 2025, with the crossover breakers set being released. And then my first locals was actually the Alliance Insight pre-release. So it's been me getting it competitive as a new player for the most part and learning about all the different things that exist in the game and that are being newly released. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not even gonna lie, this is a really fun game and I've been having a great time. The community is very wholesome, happy, and though I hear a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh's dying, I mean, the people that are here love it, and I do think there's probably a new player problem, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I'm here to talk about Argostars as a new player and as somebody that I guess mains the deck. Okay, so I pulled us over here in the Master Duel, right? I want to take us through all the Argostars cards, except for the XZs, because we don't have the XZs in Master Duel right now, but I'm going to take us through that later because I have that in my deck in real life. I play more TCG and focus on that, I guess. I say him more. I like to look at my TCG deck more than I do Master Duel. I don't like Master Duel's format, but that's, again, conversation for another day. I just want to show y'all cards and talk about what I've learned. Let's start with what I think is the best main deck monster, my girl Glorious Adra. She has 3 effects. During your opponent's turn, if you control a continuous trap, you can quick effect, banish this card from your hand, make the attack of one monster on the field 0, that is non-targeting. So if somebody declares an attack, there's no change in the actual monsters on the field. You can pretty much get a free battle trick and either burn them for some damage or get a monster out the goddamn battlefield, which is kind of nice. I've battle tricked a few Agamondays out the battlefield, or even won some games at locals because somebody with Dynamorphia swung with like a Rexstrom and didn't realize that I could just be like, hey, no. So cool effect, neat battle trick in time or in weird situations. So next effect is if this card is normal summoned this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your continuous traps or their effects, which does come up because all the continuous trap Argostars monsters that can turn into traps that can turn into monsters is a better way to say that. All of them are still counted as traps, so this does come up, so you can technically double chain block them in a weird way. So if you use their trap effect to special summon them meeting their condition, which we'll get to them later, you can also do the reverse and chain block them by putting them back in the spell trap zone, which all of them have the quick effect to do that. which does again very much come up in conjunction with their speed field spell. Love their field spell. People once they realize what it does, they're like, I have to out this right the hell now. But back to Adra. Cool effect. Great thing here. Definitely is the one of the effects you want to resolve. The true effect you want to resolve though is the third effect, that you can banish this card for cost, place up to 2 Argostars continuous traps with different names from your hand or deck face up, which that skips the activation and is so nice because it means like things like what is it, Lingeribo can't just stop you. So not only if you resolve effect 2 they're non-interactable, but effect 3 makes it to where they skip the step of having to be like placed yourself. So 2 thumbs up, we love that. Adra is the card you need to make sure resolve. So if you can bait out an Imperm, if you can bait out an Omni Negate, you can bait out a pop, yeah, this is what you want to get going. Let's talk about the other main deck monster though, because this is what I feel is the game closer. I slept on her at first. Slept on her in the sense that I was like, yes, you want one in the deck, but like, nah. I need to test some more with this because okay, so her first like lingering effect is gain 700 attack defense for each Argostars with a different name, so you can get 2 different traps if you have have used Adra earlier in the turn. So that means that pretty much double her attack if you're able to summon out 2 different traps, which is neat. So she's a very nice game closer. You can only use each of the following effects once. Quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, return 1 Argostars continuous trap you control to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. Cool. So pretty much free soft reset on one of the traps here. That does come up because all of them are soft once per turns, which it's so weird. It comes up all the time, especially with Tydeu, because she can discard a card and search another Argostars card name. So you can search the thing that you're missing in the pieces to get the field set up. And then the other effect is you can banish this card you control, set 1 continuous trap from your hand. It can be activated this turn. Notice that does not say Argostars anywhere. It just says a continuous trap. So you can set a floodgate, you can set something that would turn off stuff in your opponent's hand, you can set, hell, I said an Eye of Truth and ended up seeing an Ash and using it to send on a droplet because weird tech things. I don't know, I was just trying stuff. Sorry. But this is neat. I call her one of in the deck. Yeah, she's cool. I can see more applications and I'll definitely be testing more with her, but she's not the thing that you need. Alright, let's talk about Field Spell. So, Field Spell is a soft once per turn. You can pay 1,000 life points, add 1 Argostars card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. Cool. So it helps you recycle some stuff. Each time a continuous trap in the spell trap zone is special summoned near your field, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This comes up so much. People hate this, dog. So it's not even just the Argostars, it's any continuous trap monster. The 2 that I really run are Anguish Pattern and Swamp Deity, or Apophis, because this is the, I'm gonna be honest, the sexiest negate that I've seen in a minute. It's just a card, a face-up card negate. What? You're telling me if I'm just already advantaged because I have like a continuous trap or 2, boom, that's a free negate or 2 and then a body. Also normal monster, sidebar, there's some plays you can do if you have a link spider, but we'll come back to that. So just free burn damage, awesome in time, even better for funny game closer because they're weird situations. You have your opponent so low that they're like, I have to like stop something else, and then you end up triggering another trap. The third effect on it, Once per chain, if a continuous trap activates its effect in the monster zone, while you have a banished Argostars monster, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. All of that wordiness to say, if you can banish one of our girls and any of our traps use their effect in the monster zone, so your effect to pop and then either of their quick effects to bounce back, they don't even really have to resolve, they just have to use the effect. Keep this in mind, because sometimes things get popped along the way. You can get a face-up target negate on a separate chain, so that is important. So let's say somebody uses, I don't know, in the most rudimentary example, Monster Reborn on something that would have a trigger effect whenever it comes back, or an effect that you would want to block. So let's say somebody is being silly and has Monster Reborn in a Malice deck. They Monster Reborn Dormouse. Dormouse uses effect because they trigger whenever they use Monster Reborn, you just bounce a monster back and you have the opportunity to go, hey, no, negate. That's just a silly example, but if you understood, you understood. I'll have to give more, do an actual like in-depth combo guide, but this is a really crazy, like a series of negates that can happen. The most optimal way to set it up is Anguish Pattern with the Trap Girls, because you can trigger it off the ability to pop a card, and if there's something, it snowballs really hard. It's strange. If the pop triggers, you can negate something, and if you can negate something, they usually can't really play much else, because you just popped and negated a separate card on the field. Love this. This is neat. Let's talk about the other spell card they have. This is their in archetype run. So, this reads: add one Argostars monster from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, if you have a continuous trap in your monster zone or a continuous trap with the effect that special summons itself as a monster. Oh, why can I not? Okay. In your spell and trap zone, you can normal summon one warrior monster. So, all this is saying is if you have a continuous trap, face up. Like one of our things that can just special summon themselves. You get an additional normal summon, which God, is so nice. And you wonder, I can just get a free normal summon? Yeah, you can do that on your opponent's turn. So you can add Adra and then normal summon Adra to make the traps uninteractable for the turn. What? Yeah, that does come up all the time. It's so neat. Because not only can you set this because it's a quick play spell, it is a rota, so it is extra scary. You set this, go past turn, use it and draw phase just for a couple of reasons. You can play around Droll, you can also scare them. It baits out Ash. And the most ashable thing in this deck besides this card right here, and this is what you want to be ashed, is Tydeu. You do not want Tydeu to be ashed. Because we'll get to it later, but this adds a card as a part of the trap effect. So if you can stop an ad, you can stop Tydeu. You know what I mean? Okay, you follow. So, I'm sorry. But, it does have an additional effect in the grave, which I like a lot, right? So during your main phase, you can banish this card, then target 2 on the field, including an Argostars continuous trap, return them to the hand. So that comes up hella for me, especially because a lot of the Argostars are soft once per turn. Or Argostars cards are soft once per turn, namely Tydeu, being able to add another card, this being able to essentially do an additional 500 heal and burn in both directions, which is extremely nice. And then I sometimes will bounce Eteo just for cost on this card, like just for needing to target an Argostars card, but like it's extra nice if I can get Tydeu and then field spell because I already cracked their board, because that means I can add another card off this 1,000 life points, which over the course of a duel, I'm not gonna lie, you do heal a decent amount with her. She's the one over right now, but her being Swift Capane, one of the trap monsters. We'll come back to that, but the Argostars Giantslaying is extremely nice. I love that it's a quick play, love that it's a Rhoda, and essentially just get you an additional normal summon if you can get something online that is in archetype or hell, even a continuous trap. Okay, let's talk about the actual trap monsters, right? So each of them have a effect in the face-up spell and trap zone. Tydeu's would be a buff to all warrior monsters for 500 attack and defense, which is cool. Helps clear games, helps clear some bigger bodies that you might have a problem with depending on what you're trying to interact with. But her activated effect is once per turn you can discard a card for cost, which sometimes hurts because this can be ashed. Special summon this is an effect monster. It is a warrior, light, level 4, attack 2000 and defense 2000, so she is a beater. With the following effect. We'll come back to that effect in a second. But a part of the trap effect is you can add an Argostars card from your deck to your hand. Which is what makes this really ashable. This bottom text right here, right? A part of the trap effect is to add from deck, which is really cool because you can make that non-interactable with Adra, but Adra has to be summoned or resolved via Giantslaying on the opponent's turn, or have been summoned on your turn. You know what I mean? Like it has to have been summoned out properly in the way that you want it to be normal summoned. Which ain't like the end of the world, but I mean, if this gets ashed, this is pretty free reign. So Giantslaying is also a good bait for the special summon of Tydeu. That's just a good note to have, but you do have to have a discard for it. All of the Argostars traps have the quick effect. You can place this card in your face-up spell and trap zone, which that is a quick effect to return themselves back to the back row, which does trigger Home Stadium on a separate chain. So if you can like telegraph, hey, I need to like negate something when it comes out, perfect. Set your girl up in the right spot. We love Tydeu. Tydeu's a searcher. Tydeu at least is a buff and usually is our like main playmaker as to getting other things set up for the board. That's why I have her as a 2 of. The ratio looks interesting. This one we can talk about now. I like Capane. Capane will clog your hand is the problem. Capane has the condition of, so let's talk about our spell and trap zone effect first. Warriors cannot be destroyed by battle. That's cool. A lot of people don't read this. That's the buff on it. Like legitimately people will forget and then you're like, hey, that didn't get destroyed by the way, and they're like, damn, which neat. Once per turn, if a continuous trap is in your monster zone, you can special summon this as an effect monster. It's also a warrior, light, level 4. You see in level 4 synergy, its attack is 1800 and defense is 1800, and it has the following effect, same quick effect you can place in the spell trap zone, but its bonus effect is if you have a banished Argostars monster, you gain 500 life points. So not only are you burning your opponent for 500 if you have the field spell out, you're also gaining 500. So it's pretty much a 1,000 point disparity right there. You're like, boom, let me fix that real quick. Because also a lot of times having to pay 1,000 for the field spell on something, which is cool, but that keeps y'all even. So honestly, I think that's a good design choice. We keep her as a 1 of because she's really conditional. You need another trap out summoned already to summon her. So having her in your hand definitely will like clog something or make it to where it's extremely awkward. Though we do love Capane. the last Argostars girly is Eteo. I'm not gonna lie. Besides Adra right here, Eteo might be my second favorite. Um, while this card is face up in your spell and trap zone, warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effect. So, say somebody, and this is like legitimately worst case scenario. Somebody has like lightning storm, duster, and you're unable to negate it with like Apophis or just something. You're not able to stop that. You can flip this face up and essentially sacrifice this to get rid or to save the other two Argostars cards you have out, or the other Argostars card you have out, so you're not just stuck. Because I mean, if they take your field spell away, that does take away a decent amount of negates, but you're at least not like fish out of water. So really great effect here. Just the fact that they come out as warriors. So generic warrior support on all three of these. This one especially though, that effect destruction is so nice. Her activated effect though, once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, so this is a reactionary thing. I like this one whenever I'm trying to break a board going second. So like, say Adra resolves, I get Tydeu and her. Tydeu effect, special summon, get like anything I need, either field spell or the other. If I haven't already used this, because both of these effects are once per turn and you can only use it that like once per turn, I'll try to go for an extra body with Parthe, and if they use anything to try to interrupt there, I get another body. And let's talk about our extra effect. Then if you have a banished Argostars monster, you can return one card on the field to the hand. It's non-targeting. She comes out as a warrior, light, level 4, attack 800, 800. She's the weakest of the three, but the strongest of the three. You know what I mean? Like, the ability to search is really strong, and she's the like physically strongest. But that non-targeting bounce, oh my word, let me die. The amount of times that saved me. She also has the same monster quick effect. She can place herself in the spell and trap zone, but that bounce, so nice. It's so nice. That will do it for our actual Argostars main deck cards though. We do have an XZs. My fault, I have to record here for a second. So the last card for the Argostars would be the extra deck monster, Argostars Adventurous Arion. I feel like this card has went through like 3 translations, but it's adorable all the same. I have it in Starlight Rare. Once per turn, you can also XZ summon Argostars Adventurous Arion by using one Argostars monster you control. Transfer its material to this card, so it's a motherfucking Zodiac card. Like that confuses me. I didn't play there in Zoo, but I've read those cards and I was like, that's cool. So I can do that with another copy of this. Or if they release another Argostars XZs, which I could see them doing that for Parthe, maybe. Dude, that'd be so dope. Holy shit, actually. Anyway. So if this card is Exisum, you can add one Argostar spell from your deck to your hand. Cool. So you can search the other spell that you might be missing that you couldn't add with Parthe. During the standby phase, you can detach 2 materials from this card, place up to 3 Argostars continuous traps from graveyard, face up in your spell and trap zone. So you can pretty much use them as material to do whatever you need throughout your plays. Do what you want, honestly, and then recoup them using this. Or the better way to use them, in my opinion, is to do this during like a grind game situation where you have 2 bodies left over and you're like, hey, guess what? And then you suddenly have 3 Argo stars in the back line that are ready to like burn for 1500 throughout the opponent's turn. If you do manage to get all 3 set up, you have 3 separate negates plus a bounce and also a search for a 0 attack set, which is very nice. Yeah, the XEs is really cool, but it's not like the pinnacle thing that it's about to make them like over the top broken. It is definitely like peak in a grind game. That's my honest diagnosis for it. That is about it for the Argostars main deck and extra deck names. The things that support it, I can pull up a couple things. The things that I use in my deck, firstly, I like in the extra deck, Silhouette Rabbit, any 2 effect monsters, so any 2 of the Argostars names, so namely Tydeu and Capane, can get you straight up into Silhouette and can get you into any effect monster, or trap monster is a better way to say that. It can set it and then you get a free spell trap pop, which, oh, what is that? It helps come up all the time. It also would let you search Apophis, which is another thing that goes along very well. You can, this has 2 synergies in the deck, right? So you get an extra number of negates up to the number of continuous traps you have. You also get the ability to bounce this back to your hand with Giantslaying. So this is resettable and it's kind of nice. Another piece of tech would be Time Thief Redoer, because if there is a trap under it as material, you can, non-targeting, place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on top of their deck, which that's just such a nice piece of removal and can make your opponent brick in some cases. So like, say they're playing Blue Eyes, you get rid of their whole board, but they have a Blue Eyes on board, you just get to be like, bye-bye. They also do have rank 4 access in real life. I play them with Ryziel, but Master Duel for right now, it's just pure. A card that I do like, there are 2. Let me find. Yeah. You're finished. This is a trap monster, searchable off Silhouette Rabbit. Also, it is pretty much just a free level 10 board clear if you're facing a combo deck, which situational and Master Duel, but it's great in the side deck for real life TCG. The other thing is the companion card with it that just came out. That's 10. I don't know if I can actually look this up on Master Duel, because it gets kind of weird. Oh, I can. That's 10 is really good against combo decks, and each time somebody activates, well, not even just combo decks, in really interactive game states, because anytime somebody activates a card or effect, you just get an extra counter, and on the 10th counter, you can return it in your hand and place 1 continuous trap that can be activated this turn from your deck, face up or face down on the field. So really great with Tydeu, really great with Apophis. I don't run it right now because I'm running a board breaker approach. This seems better on like a combo-y I'm going first build. Rank 4 access across the board. Also, SP Little Knight is really funny in this because it is a warrior, so it gets the buffs from each of these. So sometimes just making an SP, banishing something important to have, and then sitting there and then they can't interact just really well is kind of funny. But that's really about it for the tech picks. I'm still discovering things. You have really generic continuous trap support via Fierce Parthe, so I'm still looking at things for that, especially in this upcoming format, Justice Hunters. There's a lot of things that interact from the hand, so I'll be looking out for stuff. If anybody has any ideas or things they want to leave down in the comments, please let me know. The funniest thing that I found is Eye of Truth. Really, of course, old card, we all know it, but your opponent must keep your hand revealed. It's so funny. So it turns off all the, what is it, Vanquish Soul effects, and then I can send it off Droplet, and then like 3 Rise or Ice Ryziel, and then I think Node can send it too. There's another weird thing that I found could send it, but Either way, it was fun. So that's about it for my tech picks. Anyway, I would like to show y'all Master Duel gameplay.
Oh yeah!